Right, and we are live. Let's get everything set and kick it off. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you guys had a great day. Very positive feedback from yesterday's session, even though it was cut short due to load shedding. Had quite a bit of feedback in terms of guys actually executing on the ideas shared within the live stream, and that was very positive to see. Mine was a one trick pony, a one shot, one kill, and it seems we won't see him again maybe later in the week. No, I'm kidding, guys. I hope everyone is doing well. Just want to check how's the audio good, music good. If Mo can just give us some feedback on the audio, or even you guys in the chat, just give us some feedback. Can you hear the music? We just want to set the tone.
Yeah, just test these 1 2 1 2.
Yeah. We just want to make sure that the music is good, and because it should be, you should feel like you're in an elevator. That is ultimately what we are going for, the elevator sound. And
mic test 1 2.
Javon, very soft. If you can get your mic a little bit louder.
Mic test 1 2.
No, it's not picking up your headset, but we'll sort that out. In the meantime, we can just mute that. All right, guys, audio is great. Appreciate it. And I think we can jump straight into the analysis. I'm just going to ask Jevon to sit tight there for a moment. All right, so DXY, let's quickly look at
sorry, Chris, I'm just testing the mic quickly.
Yeah, perfect.
How's that sounding? Cool, perfect.
Good. Alright, so we're going to kick it off with DXY as mentioned. And actually, before we kick it off with DXY, let's just look at what we've got on the economic calendar. Very flat in terms of news, nothing for the London session, only some existing home sales later this afternoon for the US, and we actually have two Fed speakers on deck later this afternoon. So going straight back into it, DXY weekly, we've already discussed that we are bullish on the week, and I'm just going to jump down to the weekly time frame as well. We mentioned that we've got this potential area for a retest all the way back down here to 103, and then we can still potentially push our way back up to 104.20, 104.2025. And going on the daily, let's quickly look at what we've got on the daily. So daily is bearish. Yesterday we already filled that daily wick. For some of you that know, I like a wick fill. It makes it quite easy to read where price can potentially go. But again, we are bearish on the day due to the fact that I just want to show you guys this. Looking to my left, you can see this prior area of resistance. Just want to show you right there. You can see prior area of resistance. On Friday, we closed above it. Yesterday, we closed below it. And now we've already made the wick fill, and we've already broken yesterday's low. So bearish on the day, but also remembering that Tuesday or Wednesday is going to create the low or the high of the week. And for that reason, I'll also need to consider my Asia range. So I'm just going to take these lines off, just clean up the chart a little bit. But currently trading below Asia lows, currently breaking structure lower. And ideally what we want to see is a respect, if price comes back to these Asia lows, to respect it, or to either push back up to this daily pivot area as well as the weekly pivot area. So this WP, that's basically the weekly pivot. That is where most of the price will be trending around for the week, and that is also from where you can potentially look at swing trades. So currently bearish. I do think we can remain bearish if we can stay below the Asia lows, even if we pull back a little bit deeper. If we pull back, say, into this zone right here, 103.20, and then get back out of the Asia range, we can trade lower. But again, yet to see what the open brings, but bearish on the day, with the fact that we can still shift bullish if we start maintaining the Asia lows. Jumping straight over to GBP USD, weekly neutral. Remember, if you guys missed the analysis, please go back yesterday, go and check what we did on the analysis there. But weekly, I did mention that there's two things that can happen here. We can either pop up, break last week's high, and then come all the way down to create our first weekly break of structure to the downside. Or we can potentially have some sort of double bottom here, because we're still holding above this prior area of resistance. Multiple tests on that level, and therefore we do need to consider that the weekly held support already filled the wick, already breaking last week's highs. So going back to a daily time frame, let's quickly look at what we've got on the daily. So on the daily, my target today would have been this area right here. That's the range we've got to move in. Also, yesterday's daily candle broke and closed above that support area. As you can see there, just want to show you guys, support created, resistance created, break of structure. Where is our next range to fill? Look left with me, this area right here. If we're going to continue bullish, we can still come and fill this wick right here, and I'm actually going to mark that out for us, daily wick fill, and that could be potential upside targets depending on what the lower time frame is telling me. We just reduce the size of that text for us, daily wick fill targets, and then I'm going to jump down to the lower time frame for some context. So on the day, we're going to go with a bullish bias. And let's see where we are trading within our ranges. Let's just create some context for ourselves. I'm just going to delete that. Asia highs, already clearing Asia highs quite strongly, so making that quite easy for us in terms of looking for entries. And our daily pivot levels, let's quickly check. Daily pivot level below the Asia lows, 80 is showing bullish pressure as well. So I'm going to go with bullish on the day for GBP USD. Areas of interest for me will be Asia highs. I'm actually going to already set alerts for us there at the Asia highs. That is 12777. That is where I will be on alert. Let's just quickly do this, Asia highs. If the 80 remains bullish, I will also consider buys from the Asia lows, which is at 12756. And then if we start breaking Asia lows, then we need to reassess where we are in the market. Alright, gold. Let's quickly look at what we've got going on for gold. Jumping down to a daily time frame. Yesterday closing bullish. Also go back and see what we talked about. Remember, I said I'm not too convinced about this bullish daily candle due to the fact that we did not take out the previous day's low. Remember, I said this is what I consider to be a swing low, but now yesterday's daily candle took out both these lows and then reversed. So I'm going to go with bullish on the day, 100% bullish on the day, even though the weekly is bearish. But we're trading what we see, so bullish on the daily due to the fact that we did close bullish. We do potentially have a swing point, and we can potentially push all the way back up to 1907. This is this previous area of daily support, as you can see right there. multiple tests on that level, and then last week we actually finally broke below that level. So 1907 potential upside targets, bullish on the day. 5 minute, let's just grab some context for where we are. Trading above the weekly pivot, that's a positive sign for bullish continuation. Daily pivot slightly below the Asia lows. Also AD starting to flip bullish now, and I would love for the AD to remain bullish. And Asia highs and the weekly pivot literally on top of one another, so could be a very easy trade this morning on gold, depending on whether we can hold the Asia highs. I also need the AD to remain above the 200, so I'm going to set some alerts at 1897, and we'll need to see how we operate. Gigs, I think it's a good time for you to come in as well. I know you had your view on gold, so I'm going to give Gigs as well a chance to chat about that.
Yeah, so personally, as mentioned again, I am bearish on gold still, purely because as much as we have retraced, we keep closing behind those 1900 levels. So as we mentioned, end of last week and even a bit earlier this week, I'm probably bullish after we can get some solid closure above that 905. That was still a strong level of resistance last week, and I still believe it will be this week. As much as we are moving now, I mean, most of my sells, as I said yesterday, I was looking for that 1904 area to sell off from, which we did yesterday. So again, just because we are going up there doesn't necessarily mean we're going to go bullish yet, purely again because of that 1905. So I would wait for a nice closure above there. But as you said, in these early sessions, the way gold has moved, this is a perfect example of that. I like to counter trend trade in the morning. So even though my outlook is bearish, that would be a perfect example. Now, if we could go find support at the Asia highs, I would look to go long and still go back into that 1904 area. So I definitely think that is a trade we will be looking out for in the live right now.
Sweet, appreciate that, man. Yeah, so gold, very high potential for today. Weekly bias bullish on GJ. Actually, also go back when I mentioned very easy trade if you've got a nice wick to fill. Wick fill is done, not necessarily meaning that we are done. Also yesterday, strong bullish candle closing above that area of resistance. So again, structure break there, something similar to what you can get here. So I'm not expecting too much, especially after a big day like that. Could be a potential rangy day for GJ, but nonetheless we are bullish on the day due to the fact that we did close above most recent resistance, and we are also bullish on the week. And on the 5 minute, let's quickly look at what we've got on the 5 minutes. Just want to bring up my pivots here, right, so we can talk about that. So AD is still looking bullish. We are still trading within the Asia range. I'm going to pop this up for the Asia highs and then Asia lows as well. Just one thing to note, we are trading at the weekly resistance, this weekly R1, that is where we can potentially reject on the week. But this is also potentially where we can be like a springboard for price to continue higher. But currently still looking bullish, and ideally what I would want, where's the daily pivot is all the way down here at 186, so it makes it quite tricky in terms of taking a trade. But we will assess where we are after the open. If we can hold Asia lows, I would still consider buys from that level. Above Asia highs, I do think potential fade. So remember we had this 187 for potential fade, so let's see. I'm going to remain neutral on this. I first want to see where we trade. Nothing high probability as of yet on GJ. And then USD JPY, bullish on the week, almost exactly the same as GJ, except yesterday we failed to close above this area of resistance, which is also our weekly resistance level. So I have to go with bullish on the day, because we found support, didn't close above a resistance. So technically we in this tiny little range right here. Well, not tiny, I think it's like 70 pips if I'm not mistaken, 100 pips. So it's quite a nice range. 5 minutes, let's quickly look at what we've got on the 5 minute and see where we are relative to our daily pivot level. Alright, nice. At the daily pivot level, accumulation distribution, unfortunately to the downside, but let's see if that can change. Weekly pivot down here, potential trades off the weekly pivot as well. Also at the Asia lows. So I'm going to look for a bullish move, and how I would execute on this, I'm going to tell you guys right now how I will be looking for executions on UJ. Just want to mark out our Asia low, and then we can mark out the Asia high. So ideally I would want to see something like this on UJ, breaking Asia lows, coming back above the daily pivot, coming back above the Asia lows, and then respecting this area, and then I'll look for potential buying opportunities. I also need the accumulation distribution to start pushing bullish while we make this low, so that there's divergences, and then I need AD to be above the 200, and then I need us to hold that Asia low. That for me is a perfect buy side scenario. If not, I will not necessarily look to execute unless we get an extension below the Asia lows, strong break of structure, retest of this level, then I would look to go short back to the weekly pivot. So we're going to monitor that at the open. US 30 absolutely getting crushed yesterday, making a strong pullback, bearish on the weekly. Let's just quickly look, refresh your guys' mind on the weekly. Also remember, I mentioned yesterday, we do have this area of prior resistance. We do not want to see price close back below this. That is not good news for the bulls. So do keep that in mind. I'm actually going to leave this area right here so we can know what we are working with. And then on the daily, 2 ab roller candles. So I don't know if you know that little ab roller machine. This is basically the ab roller candle. There's your handles, there's your wheel. This is showing that there's a lot of implied volatility coming on, either today or tomorrow. So expect some big moves either today or tomorrow. So going on the day, I'm gonna have to go with neutral on the day, and purely due to the fact that we closed bearish, but we had two candles literally closing with tiny ranges, and this can pop either side. We can either be holding support here to pump up, or this could just be an accumulation phase to actually then distribute lower and actually have something like this on the day. So this thing can literally go either way, and I think on the lower time frames we need to create some context for ourselves to see where we are trading in relation to the daily pivots. So let's quickly look at where we are with our daily pivots and with our Asia range. So currently looking bullish. Our pivot sitting here at 134.45, and I'm gonna go with a bullish bias while we remain above this area. If we can remain above that area, I'm gonna remain bullish. This is also our Asia high right there. Let me quickly mark that out, Asia high, and then we also have our Asia low right about here. So trading outside of the Asia range, trading above the daily pivot, and I potentially want to see if we can hold this level bullish while we are above 34,450. I'm actually going to set an alert there, 34,450, and let's see if we can potentially get some longs. Nasdaq, let's quickly look with where we are on Nasdaq, and then we're done with the analysis. Then we can wait for the open. Massive daily candle. That is a perfect swing low formation. I do feel as a minimum we'll push up all the way to here, 35, 37, to come and retest that area. Weekly is however bearish. We did close below that area, but also remember I mentioned we're already trading to another prior resistance potential support area, and we actually marked that out as well. So on the daily, bullish, 100% bullish on the day. No denying the fact that we can push up, and if something changes on the lower time frames, then we go with it. But on the day I am bullish, and I'm just going to remove that. And then for some context on the lower time frames, also trading above the daily pivot. However, the daily pivot is all the way down here, which makes it a lot more tricky for me to trade so extended away from the daily pivot. And maybe, let's see, maybe we pull back all the way prior to NYSE to then take a long, because we're currently only 0.14 up on the day. So could be a scenario like that, but I think in terms of the better probability trade, US 30 looks better in terms of where you're trading from. Asia high, Asia low, nothing there for me. I'm actually gonna set alerts at the daily pivot or just above 14,860, and that for me would be a high probability trade if my accumulation distribution is in line. All right, guys, that's the analysis. Morning, Neil. Chris, can you break down yesterday's GJ trade, please? Perfect. I'll do that for you guys. And then Jeremy asking, pivots similar to premium and discount zones. In a sense, you can say that. How I describe it is like the pivot, for instance, this pivot. That is most like the neutral point of the day, because it's taking the previous day's high and low and close into consideration. So your best probability to catch, say, a big chunk of the average daily range of a pair would be to trade it as close as possible to the pivot. Or if you're trading below the pivot, if you're buying, the best case scenario for buy would be below Asia lows. And the best case scenario if you're selling is above Asia highs, because then you basically you almost caught the top ticked the daily high. So GJ yesterday, as mentioned, you guys can also actually still have it marked out here. 5 minutes before 10, right about here, I think, when we started moving down. Go check it, yesterday's analysis. Remember I mentioned that we're building up a lot of liquidity here. I said we are still bullish on the accumulation distribution, and I said if we get a break and a close above this area right here, I would execute. You actually had a potential execution from the weekly pivot. We discussed this yesterday here in the office as well. That's a tiny little structure break, Neil. I think you also know about this setup. There's a tiny little structure break, and then after this break right here, how far was this away from the pivot? 8. Marginal, could have maybe called it on the pullback there, but that was the setup right there. trading above the daily pivot, everything was pointing bullish in terms of moving averages, and you could have targeted your R1. I think it was 57 pips, if I'm not mistaken, 58. And what I talk about, I was helping someone the other day. That setup you see there, I'll actually still share all of this with you guys, but I've got little flashcards to help the newer guys out. But that GJ setup you see right here, this is in our playbook. Neil's got the playbook as well, Neil van der Westhuizen, but that setup right there is this one here. See that middle one there, guys? That is the setup there. So no thinking, literally just execute. You get your bias for the day, you establish where you want to enter from. As you all know, I like to enter from key anchor points, Asia high, Asia low, and daily pivot. So that is where I like to enter from. Also do know that my Asia range that I consider is from 12 o'clock the evening up until 6 o'clock in the morning. That is my Asia range that I consider, because I know a lot of guys ask me about my Asia range and their Asia range. Jeremy, I think you do still have my number. Just send me a WhatsApp. I'll send the flashcards to you. Brahm, I think we did do GU. So like I mentioned, either Asia highs or Asia lows. Asia lows would be a lot better, but Asia highs also a potential to consider. Just one thing to note, we are very close to this round number right here, so not a far away. It's basically 20 pips, so round numbers as well, need to consider that. But we'll see 3 minutes to the open, actually 1 minute, and then we can start looking at executing on our ideas. USD ZAR we didn't do. We'll just actually mark out these Asia lows, Asia highs. Remember I said 19 is going to be quite a key level. Could potentially reject from there. Currently flipped bearish on the AD and the daily time frame. Keegan mentioned like there's quite a bit going into this BRICS summit. I wasn't too dialed in on it. But yesterday we did mention that we were bearish, and I'm going to go with bearish again on the day. Only thing to consider is we've got this daily support area right here, so already trading into that. And then on the weekly as well, remember I mentioned we're going to have some implied volatility, and we could potentially get something like this, basically that mirroring one another. But I'm neutral on the week. 5 minutes.
Yeah, just adding to that, the same as the dollar is coming down on the dollar index. When I was actually just checking it out now, on the daily and 4 hour, we actually are coming to quite a key level of support. So there is that possibility, if that support holds for London Open and obviously New York session, the dollar can find some strength again.
Keegs is saying if we regain that Asia low on DXY, then we can rebound.
Yeah, because we come into quite a key area, which was also previous daily lows as well, where they also found support. So if that dollar can get a support there as well, if it breaks through, I 100% will stick with the bearish bias. but if it does find support there, it can get quite interesting for the day. Also, Han wants to know, can he join? Because he had load shedding, so his power only came on now.
Tell Han 100% he can join. Just tell Han if he comes to the office, then the fines is two Seattles. We'll have to do a fines meeting, 2 Seattles, but he can definitely join. How's everyone doing today? How's the week been? It's Monday. If your week is going downhill and it's Tuesday. In terms of your trading, chin up. Let's stick to our plan. Let's stick to our rules. Let's not rush the process. There's so much time in order for us to do great things in trading. So do not consider or do not compare yourself to other people's journey. You are on your own journey, and you can only control what you can control. It's not about controlling everything. It's literally about doing the right things at the right time and just showing up every day. And if you've got the ability to show up every day, there's absolutely no reason for you to not succeed.
Yeah, just on top of that, Chris, before we start, if we do start taking any trades, we just want to obviously run through the disclaimer.
Thank you so much for that, Keeks. Yeah, disclaimer should actually be done at the start, but again, these streams are purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not construe this as financial advice. Please seek advice from your financial advisor before making any financial decisions. You will lose money if you follow what we do on the stream. With that being said, markets are open and in motion. Let's see what we've got. Gonna wait for the 15-minute shuffle as usual, and then we go from there. Good morning, Justin. Hope you're well. If we can just get on to throw some video on or not, also fine if there's no video, but think about it.
You know, as well, I was looking at again the whole sentimental analysis for gold and the dollar is 79% of people are still going long on it. But as you always say, majority of people, whatever they do, they're going to be wrong. So again, that kind of does slightly add to my bearish outlook.
Is everyone still long on the dollar?
Yeah, still long on the dollar and on gold.
Just bring on in here. Did you check on IG, the sentiment?
On daily FX.
Yeah, let's quickly check. Yeah, so the thing with the daily sentiment, or not the daily, like the overall sentiment, is you've got two extremes. Like even if like retail is saying net long and price has been dropping, there's gonna come a shift where they start shifting the other way around, and then price is actually gonna start moving into their favor. So just looking at this, the extremes are USD JPY, guys on net short on that. Another one is, what is this? This is
AUD USD is quite hectic.
Yeah, Euro JPY is quite hectic. Let me actually try and pull this out a little bit so you can check it here in the middle. Okay, let's quickly look here. Euro, okay, that's not what we trade, but let's quickly look at what we are trading. So gold oaks are 80% net long, as Keeks mentioned. Wall Street mix, guys are starting to build short positions. DXY is not on here, but we can use Euro USD, and guys on net long on Euro USD. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Nicholas, we actually ran through UJ. If you just go a little bit back on the stream, we did the daily analysis and we also did the weekly analysis on yesterday's stream. So I mentioned I am bullish on the day, and what I want to see potentially is something like this, where we fake out below the Asia lows, come back into the Asia range, and then hold this level. From there, I'll start looking for long opportunities. Other than that, if we do displace below the Asia lows, and we actually come back and we fail to get above the Asia lows, then I would consider shorts on this. So that is basically a little bit of a two-edged sword on that, but that is what I'm going for. Laz, can you explain this a bit better, Chris? What is that, Laz? The pivots. Ray Swag asking, can I look at GBP JPY? I can. We also did an analysis. If you go back, I mentioned I'm not touching it in the range. I want to see where we are. It is starting to build some bearish momentum. I have marked out this 187 level as a potential weekly fade for shorts. But also looking at it now, if we get something like this from the Asia lows. Actually, to be honest, we're in a cuck position with GJ, and let me tell you why. Below the Asia lows, we've got 186 closer here to the daily pivot level. So let's say even if you're selling from the Asia lows, what is this range that you've got? 36 pips. It's a decent range. We can work with that, but nothing for me as of yet. I want to see us get outside of the Asia ranges. Hi en goeiemôre my vriend, lekker om jou hier te sien.
Môre. Prix het my gevang vanoggend.
Ja, ek het gehoor, ek het vir Keeks gesê, dis sleg dat jy nie join nie. Ek dog iemand het jou offend, want Keegan offend baie ouens hier in die kantoor, maar ons moet maar die vark uit ons hart uit hou hier in die kantoor.
I'm not even gonna ask what that was about.
We're talking about our favorite flavor ice cream.
Ja.
No, you shouldn't be eating ice cream. You're on a diet. Yeah.
Thanks for blatantly telling everyone that I'm fat.
Look at you. I'm so proud of you. What, did you finally move into the office?
He did.
Man's out the hallway.
Man's out the hallway. Now we can have no surprises in the background.
I know a lot of guys were keen on a surprise. They were actually sitting here waiting for it. I see you guys there in the chat saying just waiting to ruffle it up there. Guys,
Dropping $5 bets.
if we can just get those likes up to 10, then we'll start dropping some signals here. We don't sell anything. The trade setups just cost likes. The more likes we get, the more signals we'll send out. I'm talking rubbish, but be sure to like the stream and subscribe. We appreciate you guys for joining.
On that note, I think, Han, we're still waiting on your first signal there.
We are. But no
My
pressure.
USD bad signal from yesterday didn't play out, but luckily I told my group to take out their limits, but we did catch some Euro USD buys for a nice 1 2 3, so that worked out quite nicely.
But to be fair, your USD CAD trade did work out. It just didn't give that pullback.
I personally feel that like there was not enough liquidity
Displacement,
build up
yeah.
for that trade to actually be valid. So then the Euro USD trade obviously worked out quite nicely.
Alright guys, almost done with the 15-minute shuffle. Keen to execute. Unfortunately, yesterday the podcast fund didn't make it. We put that thing under immense pressure. It was just a lot of events that happened to, and the result was the downfall of that podcast fund. And it just shows you like that seeking that dopamine is not always good. But we will start another one. It started off so well, I must actually quickly... Sheesh. That was ugly.
Chris, what's your view on Nasdaq at the moment?
Javen, can I ask you to put your mic up a bit? Yesterday your mic was a lot clearer. I don't know if you're going through your headset. My view on Nasdaq, obviously the daily is bullish. I did mention we can go up. But again, we're so far away from the daily pivot that I mentioned. I would rather look for buys off these Asia highs on US 30. So by the looks of it, it's gone. But let's see, it's still early in the session. And then DXY, as I mentioned, Asia lows. I want to see what we do at these Asia lows. And then gold as well, Asia highs, also the weekly pivot, so quite a key level, 1896. I'll be looking to execute longs from here if we get down, but if we just start trading up from here, no trade for me necessarily. I know Keeks, where's your sell level? 1907, eh? That's that weekly or daily
No,
key
so
level.
I've actually got sell level where I'm gonna look at is 1903,500. So I'm gonna look to sell there, purely trying to find support, as we do have a weekly key level at 1904,100. And as I mentioned, that's literally again kind of that last like tipping point. We're either going to find support there and sell off, and then if we start testing that 1905, 1906 and get closure above there, then I'll start looking to go long. But just, yeah.
Jeremy wants you to share your diet on the stream.
I've actually got quite a lekker diet. But yeah, I'll happily would literally run through it for you guys. But just to add to that gold sell there, just for a bit more info into it. Also reasons we got there in our key levels was because that was quite a bit of a breakaway when we had our initial sell off. Where then also was retested where we made a daily high, which then again was rejected and sold off. So it does add a bit of a input while looking at that area. was gonna say, yeah, Han, you can see the chat. I can't really see it. But if they do want to really know, I will happily share my diet for them.
That was Chris's partner calling him in his next Ponzi crypto scheme.
Got to keep the options open.
Was the signal sent? Nothing yet.
Chris, we have a question for you.
Yes.
Was that your partner in the next Bit Club?
Next crypto scam.
Yeah.
So we're actually starting our OnlyFans, but it's more for guys. So we're gonna put the guys. So Keegs is our first OnlyFans model for that business partnership.
And you're only accepting crypto payments?
Only crypto payments on Coinbase. Unfortunately, it needs to be untraceable.
You see, guys, that's how we avoid tax.
Javen, sorry man, you were referring to Nasdaq. I believe you want to sell it. Where do you want to sell it?
Oh yes, I'm actually looking at the 15,020 area. So if you refine all the way back to the 3 minute, okay, you didn't have to do it now, but there is a fair value gap there, and also lines up my stop hunt box. And also just the way Nasdaq has been moving, has been very aggressive to the upside. So I do believe that we have to see a retracement. So if we are going to go bullish, come to the zone, sell, break the Asian lows, pick up yesterday's liquidity, and then potentially see a rise in New York session. But was likely looking to sell Nasdaq, and I also back Keeks trade at on gold at 1903. It also lines up perfectly with my rules. So we could see gold go there, and I also believe that we could see price get there right after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, currently trading at session highs on gold. Can't do much here. If you're looking to buy at session highs, good luck. That can work, but personally for me, I don't trade breakouts at session highs. GU also at session highs. DXY session lows, making another low on the day. USD ZAR also on the weekly support level, also very close to session lows. So in terms of high probability trades, those are not the high probability trades. Your high probability trades are not at session highs and lows. You want to target session highs and session lows.
So just to add to that, so we were actually talking about this the other day where people were asking me based on my strategy how I trade, and some of the guys were asking if I trade the silver bullet. Just I catch these bigger moves, if you want to call it that, where we basically actually spoke about the one day thing with Han. He said in a nutshell, my strategy is quite almost like a swing trader, but on a daily platform. So I like to swing from a daily high to a daily low. So that's kind of when we are trading, we're always looking for those daily highs to daily lows, and then catching those trades at the most probable place, just to keep the trade entry and safe as well.
Chris, just off topic as well. I was speaking to someone yesterday, and we had this whole long trading conversation. What are your thoughts on the use of your trading profits and paying yourself? What are your thoughts on what you should be doing with your trading profits starting off, and then once you do start making a good amount of money, what to do with your profits? The reason I'm asking is we obviously know that trading isn't always guaranteed. I mean, profits aren't always guaranteed. So what would you personally say to people that are earning money from trading? What should you do with that money?
So firstly, I think it is all basically dependent on everybody's financial situation, where you are. But I think for the most part, I think ideally it would be to first kill off debt if you're somebody that's got like a lot of debt. And let's talk about two scenarios. Let's break it down into the two classes. You've got guys trading full-time, and then you've got guys trading part-time that still have a 9 to 5. So for the 9 to 5 guys, ultimately trading should be a thing where you can kill off debt. Or let's say you don't have a lot of expenses, you don't have a lot of debt. It's a nice to have. That's how I started. You make X amount of money, you can buy furniture, you can buy yourself a nice new computer rig, you can do stuff at home, you can basically fund your hobby, whatever it is. If it's gym, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're a triathlete, or if you cycle, you can buy yourself a new bicycle, whatever. But I think what Ian is also referring to is more in the context of if you're a full-time trader. And I think in terms of actually utilizing your profits, the best thing ultimately would be, and the ideal for anyone would be, to get cash flow. We always talk about this, and Grant Cardone also talks about cash flow. And how do you generate cash flow without you having to lift a finger in terms of income? And there's only two ways you can really do it. You can either invest into property. If you buy property cash, it's going to generate cash flow. You're getting the rental income. You're also getting the price valuation of it. So the price of your property in 3, 4, 5 years time would potentially go up in line with inflation. Obviously also dependent on what area you bought your property in. And the other one is investing into a stock portfolio that basically provides dividends. So investing into stocks that give you a quarterly or a annual, or basically maybe just one dividend a year. That also generates cash flow that gives you the ability to take your dividend, to reinvest it into that stock name and increase your holdings. So for me personally, again, this is not financial advice. For me personally, what I'm trying to do is I've got property, and from last year, my idea shifted completely away from property into dividend stocks. And the reason why I like dividend stocks is you get the price valuation on your stock holdings. You also get the dividend. And then what you do with your dividend is, let's say for instance, I've got Remgrow or whatever stock, and it provides me X amount of dividend. Let's say a 10% dividend on the year. Then I'll take that 10% and reinvest it. So I'm continuously increasing my holdings in that company. And that for me, I would say, is the dream, to get to a stage where your dividend portfolio can then actually start buying hard assets like property, actually provide you an income. And that is where you start generating cash flow, because with trading, the only cash flow you're generating is when you're on the charts. If you don't pitch up to trade today, you're not going to make money. If you are not taking good trades, you're not making money. So the cash flow is purely dependent on you as a person. But if you've got something like a property or a stock portfolio where you earn dividends on your stocks, then without you having to do anything, the business goes on. You're not a key part of that business, but when it comes to trading, you technically are the business. The business starts and ends with you. So that would be my idea. I don't know what conclusion you guys came to.
No, well, I think while we're on the topic of some Q&A, Chris, what's your thoughts on, because a question I've actually been getting quite often is, when do you think it is the right time, if this is what you want to do, to make that step from going as a part-time trader to a full-time trader?
I honestly feel like you'll never get to a stage where you feel completely comfortable. For me personally, I studied quite long and then got into a very good consulting job as a structural engineer. Very comfortable where I was. You get your monthly salary, working your 9 to 5. I was trading on the side a bit, making some additional money. And for me personally, the thing always was like that security. Where, for instance, you had that thing of, okay, I can trade, but can I consistently make my monthly income? And then slowly but surely, once, for me, I think the turning point was like the one day, and I think it was, I wouldn't necessarily say completely luck, but I made, I think, like 2 months worth of salary in 2 days, and that completely broke there was like this complete mental shift where I was like, flip, I'm working an entire month, like 40, 50, 60 hour weeks for this amount of money. Yeah, I literally made it in 2 days, literally doing analysis, entering the trade, and that ultimately killed me, in the sense of like, I can't continue doing a 9 to 5 if I can, quote unquote, make easy money in the markets. And then my idea was, okay, let me save up enough money for a year or 2 years at least, so that if I don't make any money trading, I can fall back on my degrees, I can go back into engineering and be like, fuck it, we didn't make it, we failed, we're going back to a day job. But I would ultimately say, if you have about, I would say, at least 1 year's worth of track record, and then you can obviously scale it. Let's say you're trading a 10,000 Rand account, and over a 12-month period you make 1,000 Rand a month. Then you know that is more or less your statistical mean. You're gonna make around, say, 1,000 Rand a month. And then you can scale it. Get the funding account. If you've got, say, one $50,000 account, and you know you can make, let's say, 10% consistently a month, give yourself a safety factor of 2, and let's say you only make 5%. What is that on a $5,000 account? That's $2,500. That is still decent money. You're still earning more than the majority of people out there. $2,500, what is that, Keeks? 50k? It's almost 50,000 Rand.
Yeah, it's about 50k.
So I would say there's a lot of variables, but ultimately, if you're going to be scared of failing, don't do it, because you're going to go through some rough patches. Believe me, all of us have been through it. There's going to be times where you doubt yourself, where you want to phone your old boss, where you're sending out CVs, you're doing all of these things. So if that's you, don't go into full-time trading. You don't necessarily have to go full-time. You can shift your strategy to a swing trading strategy where you only trade 4-hour candles, so you only need to look at the charts every 4 hours. But trading, man, it is a tough journey, and apologies for my language, but it will fuck you up if you are not ready to wrestle this beast. And I think if you're mentally weak, it's gonna expose you as well. 100%. It's gonna expose you. There's gonna be times where you're emotional. There's gonna be times where you're walking around, everyone's looking happy, this and that, and you're like, fuck, how do I get profitable? This is literally conversations you have with yourself. You're sitting at a braai over the weekends, and all you're thinking about is like how you fucked up last week, and how can I improve this week? And you go into like your own mind. You have tunnel vision, and then you get to the stage where you try and do too much, where you go back to that Protestant way of thinking in terms of like more hours is going to equal more output. And it's a vicious cycle, but something that you need to go through. I think it makes you stronger. And as Hein also said, we talked about it the other day, it's a testimony. It is basically what a testimony is a test that you've gone through, and you can actually share that with someone else and say like, flip man, I've been through this. This is what I did to get through it. This is what I suggest you do. I can potentially help you. But man,
Sorry. Can I continue? I just want to answer someone's question here real quick. Jadian asked if there's an OB on NAS 100. So if you actually, there is an auto block, but it's going to be very big if you're going to take it from the 15-minute or the from the 30-minute, 50-minute or the hourly. But like I said, the best way to find a tight zone is to refine that zone, and that also if you obviously are if you're disciplined enough, if it doesn't come to your zone, you don't take the trade. But if you think about it, if you minimize that spot to that pristine zone, then you have no option but to catch that trade. Chris, just go back a bit to that order block right now. It's slightly above that high where you drew it now.
yeah.
Go a bit more. Okay, what? Okay, I'm on 3 minutes.
I'm just gonna use the 5 minutes because that's standard
Okay.
for what we use on the stream. So
Okay,
let's see,
perfect.
it's basically in the middle. Yeah, it's literally there's your fair value gap.
Yeah, but I hope that answers your question, Jadian.
Sorry, Arne, you were gonna say?
Yeah, no, Chris, I think one thing that people tend to forget as well is, trading already requires such a good psychology point of view that when you start trading full time, if you're trading for your car payments, or you're trading for your house payments, or you're trading for just your bread and butter every day, it's a whole different game. Because I mean, when we start trading and when we go through our journey, we are taught that we have to level up our mental game, we have to stay strong, we have to be disciplined, all these types of different psychological factors. But at the end of the day, if you start trading for your bread and butter, the stress immediately becomes it takes a toll on you. So when people tell me, they want to go full time, this is the be all end all,
Sure.
I always tell them, just to put it in perspective, because I mean, at the end of the day, all these social media gurus and whatever, they live a lavish life, Lambos, big house in Miami, that's nice. I mean, that's great. I mean, even though they do have side incomes with businesses and property and all that type of stuff, I think people do have a misconception on what full-time trading actually looks like. It's not, take a trade, buy gold, make 20K, and go drive your Lambo into the sunset. At the end of the day, you have to treat this like a business, because if you don't, you're gonna put yourself back in life, I feel.
Yeah, you can literally put yourself back years, and it's not even about not making money. It's about actually losing money. I think I've told the story quite a few times where I literally lost everything. Like, not talking about 100,000 rand, 200, literally talking about a big sum of money, where it literally puts you into like a depression, and you're thinking like, I'm a smart guy, how did I get into this situation? And then you go back and it comes back to that root of trying to accelerate everything. You're seeing the next guy, his net worth is maybe 20 million, and now you're chasing that. Like, you're not happy with, let's say, your 5 million net worth. Now you want to chase 20 million. Now you want to get to the stage where you can buy a Lambo or whatever. So for me, ultimately, what I've seen, the biggest downfall to traders is basically comparing themselves to what others are doing and then trying to accelerate it. And we had this discussion as well. If you're willing to take out, say, the next 5 years of your life and say, look, I'm going to really commit myself to this craft, and I'm going to build this brick by brick, layer by layer, and you build small, and you basically start off with very good habits, and you scale that, you're going to be a lot stronger than somebody that maybe hit 2 or 3 or 5 lucky trades, got 200k, 300k, now all of a sudden he says he's going full-time, but you literally put in the yards, you collected your data, because ultimately what the data does is it reaffirms your belief, or it basically just makes it fact that you can sustain yourself in trading. If you don't have the data, if you can't tell me what your average percentage was for the last 12 months, how can you say I want to go full-time? But if you can tell me, look, Chris, I traded these 5 instruments, this was basically my usual trading time between 9 and 11, my losers usually occurred during this time, I'm going to cut out these 2 pairs, my win rate on them is like 20%, 30%, so why keep on trading it? I've got a 80% win rate on gold, then I would say perfect. So you're going to shift all your focus onto gold. You're not going to trade between, say, 7 to 9 o'clock in the mornings, or trade between 5 and 7 in the afternoons. This is your sweet spot. This is where you're going to start scaling yourself. If you can't do that, then this purely remains a hobby for you. And there's nothing wrong. Not everybody should go into full-time trading or go into the financial industry. If this is just something that you swing account every now and again, and you make 4, 5, 10k, and you pay something, or you go on a little weekend away, that's perfectly fine. Everybody's got different dreams, different visions for themselves. And your Heinz dream doesn't necessarily have to be my dream or Keegan's dream, or my dream shouldn't be Keegan's dream. Ultimately, we're chasing different things in the market.
If I can just interrupt there for a second once again, I'm also looking at NCD JPY. So yesterday we looked at it, we took a trade, went to profit, but then break even. So currently looking to sell it, not exactly, we'll obviously have to wait for the pattern, but the zone I'm looking at is 87.045. So looking for price to fill that little gap, give us a pattern on the 1 minute with the change of character and fair value gap, and then to continue the trend to the downside. And also why I'll be selling it is also same thing like I said. I believe all this upward movement is fake move beginning of the week, because if we've been bearish on this since last week, say. And then one more thing, Chirian, he asked if we're trading out of the swing high or swing low. So if we're selling, we most likely want to go for the high, but this isn't the swing high on Nasdaq. It's internal structure. So we're just looking to fill the unmitigated zones basically. So it's not a long-term swing trade. So basically the first target will be the Asian high and the Asian low, and then we'll see if it actually surpasses even lower after that. But yes, initially also when trading, buy low and sell high.
Cheesy Jube, good to see the growth of Chris. Keep it up. Thanks so much, man. All right, guys. So we made session lows. Honestly, nothing for me as of yet. Nothing that is within my rule set. GU currently trading at the session highs. Gold trading at 1900s. That's also the daily R1 level. We've got this 1903.53 level that we've got marked out. UJ extending below the Asia lows, starting to look a lot more bearish for me, so I'm going to actually set some alerts in and between the pivot and the Asia lows at 145.90. I would then consider potential shorts if we remain below the 200 on the accumulation distribution. That's the only trade that I, with relatively high probability, can say that I would take. Other than that, I'm not somebody that tries to fade trades. That's again, that's my view of it. I know there are a lot of guys that are very successful in trading big moves, like let's say for instance NZD JPY that Siobhan is looking at, even gold pushing up. Some guys make a lot of money just literally trading the pullbacks, waiting for big extension moves, and we all know what goes up must come down, and then fading the move. Personally, for me, I'm very bad at it, so I don't do it. I've tried it.
Just add into that, like what Chris is saying, is just think of it like same as I always said to people in business. You always, if you're selling something, you want to sell it at the most premium price that you can. And if you're buying something, you want to buy it at the most discounted, cheapest price that you can. So as we say that, it's the same as when we're swinging something. If I'm going to go against the trend, I want to do it at a key lowest of lows. And if I'm selling, I want to go against the key again and the highest of possible highs. So it's always just something to think about with actual price.
Very good point. That just makes it very easy to digest in terms of thinking about how you buy stuff.
And then Chris, let me just quickly share what I'm looking at as well. I'm actually only looking at two things today, and that's gold and GJ. Just while we at it, yeah.
You want to first look at gold, eh?
Yeah, we can look at gold quickly.
Okay, let's jump down to gold.
So if you can just quickly go into the 15-minute.
Just grab the 15-minute here first.
So far on the left there, you can see an order block over there that created a break of structure to the downside. Yeah, that one over there.
You take the entire block, eh, Han?
Yeah, the entire one, yeah.
Perfect.
So essentially what I'm looking at here is because we've had a lot of movement into this order block, I'm not necessarily going to take a risk trade, meaning I'm just going to put sell limits there. But what I'm rather going to do is I'm going to wait for a reversal pattern on the 5-minute, which is just a normal break of structure to the upside, and then for the market to take out some low. So we just tapped in there now. So I would love to see the market start retracing and then break about 1897,766. Not that low, just a bit left. That predominant low on the left.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so yeah, just basically waiting for a reversal pattern on that, and then hopefully we can get in for some shorts. Otherwise, if we do shift bullish, breaking that order block, that's also my last high. So then my buyers would shift bullish, and then on GJ as well. So on the
15-minute, let's get the 15-minute on here.
So my whole thought process behind GJ was on the 4-hour, we just created a new high. We've been trending up quite nicely on the 4-hour, and we just broke structure on the 4-hour. So what I was thinking was, okay, fine, we've just broken structure on the 4-hour. So because we've just made a new higher, we have to come down and make the new higher low. So I'm hoping to catch that retracement back down, and then the big expansion move up again. So basically all that I'm waiting for on GJ is another break of structure to the downside, because we've already had our change of character on the 15-minute. So just waiting for another break of structure or taking out a low. So my next low would be at, what's it, 186,338.
Yeah. Hein, quick question. I want to quickly jump back to gold. On the 5-minute, is there a reason why you wouldn't consider this to be a swing low? Because, and I'm just asking the question, because if you look at from this low right here, we took out a high, and so this becomes, say, the closest swing low. Also, if you look at this swing low right here, this swing low actually broke the structure to your left here. So would you not consider, let's say price pushes now up into this order block zone, let's say mitigates 50% of the order block, and we get something like this where it breaks that little low there, wouldn't you then try and look for something, let's say there's an order block looking left here, to try and sell that?
Yeah, so for me, I tend to look at strong pullbacks. So not just one candle. So it's completely right. I mean, if you go down to the 1 minute, that is another break of structure. Personally, I don't go lower than the 5 minute. I tend to actually never go down to the 5 minute, only in cases like this where, you know, the order block that I'm looking to take a trade from, you know, there's been a lot of movement in between this. So we had a massive expansion to the downside starting on Thursday.
Sorry, I see what you mean. So this is the 15-minute swing low. That's why you're considering that. No, perfect. Okay, that makes sense. That is the 15 swing low.
Yeah, so ideally we would just like to see either a pullback, another break of structure to the upside, and take out that low that's created, or just take out this low that we currently have in now. I see Keegan's potential sell area is also at the top of this order block, so that would be for nice extra confluence.
Yeah, the fact it is moving up quite nicely now, so yeah, we'll start paying attention to that one.
Market moving. No, there's no news. That's the weird thing. USD ZAR tanking down, didn't give us an opportunity. I was looking for potential sells at the Asia lows, just making lower lows. DXY, as mentioned, failure to regain the Asia lows, also still continuing bearish. 103, as mentioned, this area 103 all the way back to 102.90. This entire area is an area that I will monitor for potential bounce. If this is going to be the low of the week, we'll see some reaction of that level. Gold as well, bias on the day was bullish. Also, as mentioned, we had alerts at the Asia highs, also the weekly pivot. Not to say that it is gone. We can still trade back into this level before NYSE and still be bullish for the rest of the day. We are now in potential fade areas. GJ starting to churn bullish, and USD JPY, I've got alerts set at the Asia lows, also just below the daily pivot. Let's see what we get, but nothing as of yet to execute on. Asking the chat, are you guys in any trades? Let us know.
Also, just a note there, funny enough, on investing.com, the dollar has red news at 4 o'clock, the existing home sales.
Is it red on investing?
Yeah,
orange on Forex Factory.
Yeah, personally, it's not something I think would really affect the markets, but it is just something to keep in mind.
My local portfolio just logged in here, minus 15.6. So I've been slowly but surely buying the dip. Biggest loser on my local portfolio is Purple Group. Don't have a lot of holdings on that, but minus 48%. And I bought a lot of mining stocks, and my idea was, if you go back to, while we wait for price, we've got our alerts set. I just want to share this with you guys. 2016, if you take the previous hiking cycle we had in the US when Trump was still in power, and you go and look at 2016, I'm just going to show you guys quickly what I mean by that, why I still like mining stocks. And let's quickly go to the top 40, and let's take Implats for instance. I've got quite a big holding on Impala Plat. Just want to show you guys 2016, if I'm not mistaken. It was also close to the end of the hiking cycle in the US, and we double bottomed on Impala Plat. And let me just get the weekly time frame. Just want to show you guys 2016. Yeah, right here. So 2018 from 2015, in between that zone there, we started tapering down. This was also, let me just quickly overlay US interest rates so I can show you guys the correlation that I'm looking at there. What is the ticker for the Fed on TradingView? I think it's something like Fed R. I'll check now for us.
Chris, what are your thoughts about CFD versions of stocks? I actually hear it's getting quite popular. So instead of buying the full stock for the full price, you get a CFD pricing. So let's say you want to buy a Woolworth stock. I don't know what Woolworth stock costs now, but instead of buying the whole stock for its price, you buy a percentage of the stock at a CFD price, and then you can trade that like you trade Forex.
Again, if you are going to trade price, I think it gives you like a low cost entry into the market, because you obviously don't need to have the full amount of capital to buy the stock. But in terms of trading and investing, obviously two different ball games. So I would say if I'm going to invest, I'll actually buy the spot, like the actual stock, and I'll look for a high yielding dividend stock. But if you're gonna be trading price and you can find like a niche in it, then nothing wrong with trading that. But in terms of investing, I wouldn't trade CFDs stocks, not at all. All right, guys. So I overlaid the US interest rates, and I just want to show you guys what I was referring to. So this was 2015 when we actually started our hiking cycle, and when they started talking about tapering down, you'll see that round about this level right here, Impala Plat started bottoming out. So even though I think there was like still one or two hikes and then a pause, look at what happened with platinum and mining stocks. And then when they started cutting, there was a big drop, a big shift back to let's call it the 618, and then after they kept rates quite low for some time, it started popping up. So again, I started positioning myself for the same thing to happen. So you can see there's a divergence between the US interest rates. So the orange line is US interest rates, and we can already see that we are getting close to the peak, or the Fed is saying they're very close to neutral. So looking left, you'll see 5.5, that's the current repo rate. So let's say we get one more hike, or let's say they pause at 6. What do you think is going to happen with your mining stocks? Your mining stocks are going to start pumping as we did here. We're going to get that nice big push. I was actually in this trade years ago. This was one of the trades, and this thing did 650%. So again, I'm starting to position myself, currently down about 18% on the stock. But again, we've got the possibility of almost, say, 120, even higher, because if you look at the all-time highs on this, it's sitting all the way at 363 Rand. So that is what I'm looking at for miners, and that's my thesis. I'm sticking with it. Something that I'm playing. Merafe also have quite a big stake in this. Trading quite cheaply, one Rand 38 for that stock. Exaro, I've got some position in. Goldfields, nothing there. What else do I have in my portfolio here? Let me just grab a look here. Tungela, honestly, this is quite an expensive stock, but they've got quite a nice yield, which actually got cut yesterday, so the dividend is substantially lower. And yeah, this is not a stock that I like anymore, to be fairly honest. Their dividend yield was usually around about 21-28%. Massive losses due to rail, but yeah, so I've got quite a big mining portfolio here, and I will let you guys know in about 2 years time whether that thesis played out. But instead of trading crypto, I'm buying mining stocks that have a high dividend yield. But each to their own. Just patiently waiting at this stage, guys. Nothing we can execute on as of yet. Gold coming into Keeks and Javon's zone. Hein as well.
Chris, you're going to have some FOMO though if you don't take gold with us.
Of course I'm taking gold with you. It just gives me the reason to blame you guys if it doesn't work out.
That's fine, we blame Jevon.
No, it's not kidding.
No, we blame Han. It's his first signal. All the responsibilities on him.
No, but Hein did say he's first waiting for a 15-minute break of structure down here. I would ever consider, let's call it a high risk, but if this 5-minute close is bullish, and I'll actually start looking for potential sells. If we break back below, I would say 1,900. So let's say from this order block zone, we get like a break of structure down here. Potential retest, there'll be like an order block in this zone. I don't mind taking that down.
Yeah, like I do see that as a possible sell-off area. My only thing is, like with this, for example, like we have our set times. So this for me isn't my most highly successful time. I prefer the New York session. So just for me personally, if I am going to take a trade now, I want it to be basically the highest probability trade.
This 4 hour also literally little to no bottom wick.
And it's a nice bullish 7 o'clock candle.
Did you see yesterday? 7 o'clock bearish. What did the next
played
one
out
do?
perfectly.
So if this closes bullish in 56 minutes and it takes
Just get a
out,
nice wick to the top.
yes,
and then we'll sell off.
takes out that high, very high probability to come back down. Yesterday as well, we mentioned the 4 hour closing bearish. Look what it did. Literally, breakout traders got trapped there selling the 4 hour low and literally reversed back up. So it's not a strategy, it's more a confluence. So right guys, I'm quickly gonna run to the toilet. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, leave a like and subscribe. Monday to Friday, 8:30 till 11. All depending on load shedding. But we are here. We're not leaving here before we execute something. That is the deal. Even if you just open and close the trade, we will take a trade today.
I'll quickly answer Jason's question here in the chat on the live stream. Yeah, so I did see there is another order block that starts at about 1903.250 on the 1 hour. The only thing is it's already
We're looking at gold.
Yeah, we're looking at gold, yeah. So he's saying there's another order block just left of the zones that we're looking at, and that is true. The only thing is it's been mitigated already, and it created a break of structure. That's why I'm not looking at that order block, because it's been mitigated.
Yeah, so I agree with what Han's saying there. I wouldn't consider that order block necessarily. For example, me with my key levels and sessions, I would rather take it more into mind, like when we re-mitigated that order block that set a daily high, which was your London high and New York session high. So also quite important is when two sessions can hold a simultaneous area, and also is a much stronger area. So again, going for that New York and London high is more, for me personally, what I'd be paying attention to.
Keeks, I have an idea, bro.
Yeah, what's that?
I rate all of us buy 100k or 200k funded accounts, and we see who passes the quickest. And the
We had this idea the other day.
No, but listen to this. So the person that passes it the quickest gets all 3 other funded account logins and keeps the profits.
That's like a flipping high possibility deal. Yeah.
So let's say you do it and you pass it quicker than Javon and Chris and I, then you essentially, and we have to do it on the same prop firm.
So I essentially get 400k accounts.
Yeah, so you basically you can't merge them because it's different accounts, but you essentially get 400k worth of capital.
I hear some bad deals going on. There's some bad deals being made, yeah. That's all I can hear.
Yo, it's a very high risk deal, that, bro.
All we do it with like 10Ks. Okay, we'll make it better for now. But I mean, in the future, I rate we do it with like 300K.
Okay, we can, but I mean, you can't be salty when you lose, eh?
I'm just not gonna say anything.
I'm just saying, like, as a friend and as a brother, I think we know as recent who's got a better track record, yeah.
As of
With
recent,
funded accounts.
I can agree. As of recent, and then I just have to also say, as of always, I think my bias changed a bit. But I'll give it to you. As of recent, you have been bashing these funded accounts.
But you know, I was saying the other day, like, we were talking about it where, I think Chris and I spoke about it, where we said, you kind of push us. I mean, we already do a relatively long stream. But even if, for example, we do it in the New York session, where there's a bit more volume, and, for example, we only trade the 5 minute so that you can really scalp out some trades. But you basically try pass a funded account on the stream, like actually live on the real markets in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
I read I would then like find like a hedging strategy that I don't know how to do it, but I mean I'm sure you can find like a hedging strategy on the 1 minute or the 5 minute.
Because technically you've got a 5% drawdown, so you've got 5 shots and you can either lose the account straight away, or you've got 5 shots that, for example, I mean, you risk 2% each trade that you're gonna pass the account.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'll trade indices during NYSE. I'll go for that, but
I read that would be interesting. Like, actually, because everyone else does this whole live, like, passing funded accounts and that whole other thing. But I mean, doing it like literally where people before the whole like unlimited time was still 30 days. I think that would blow up if we actually did it live, like properly live, and actually passed it in like 2 hours.
I think what would be cool as well would be like, let's say you do see an opportunity of a trade. On the stream, you then go buy the funded account and then take it. Like, let's say, go like you see your trade that you want to take for the day, and then immediately, as soon as you see it, you go buy like your 200 or your 300k funded, and then you take the first trade on the live stream.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that as well. But I would say if we do stuff like that, that 100% is not things people should copy us with. Because I can guarantee you those are not going to be trades. We are sticking to our rules. We are going to be risky as hell with those trades.
let's do it in 2 weeks. Guys obviously know why we want to do it in 2 weeks, but I think let's do it in 2
I
weeks.
back that. Like, I really think, but like honestly, like I think that would literally put this channel like on the map. Like, screw that, like we literally pass a funded account in 2 hours on the live.
I'll leave that to you.
No, and you also need to be in on it.
Hey, what happened to full margin awareness? Don't back out now.
Okay, what? Okay, I'll agree to this. Okay, so I told Keegs last night that in this week or next week I'll buy a 300k challenge again, and then if I do that, the current 100k that I'm doing, I'll over leverage.
Yes, dude. And the podcast fund didn't make it, really, so we're extending the launch date of the podcast to, from what it looks like now, we're already in August, maybe October. But we've got a few iPhones, geeks. Ian's got an iPhone. You have one. I have one. I'm upgrading at the end of the month, so I have 4. So we can do like we can use the phones. Plug out.
Yeah, but I mean, these new iPhones have that ProRes setting that makes proper videos. Like it's camera quality.
We're literally gonna have a studio of 6 iPhones.
Like, why spend money on cameras when you've got iPhone? No, yeah, I have to say the iPhone video quality and photo quality, even if you put it on RAW, is very good.
Have you checked that ProRes setting?
No.
Yeah, Mo showed it to me the other day. Chris, he actually sets it up on your phone.
Oh, did he set it up? Okay,
Yeah.
sweet.
I don't know if he turned it off again, but he does set it up.
No,
Pro.
that changes the game. Do you know how much space it takes up?
Yeah, no, that's great. It's stupid. I think when we were doing those photos here in the office, we took something like, I'd say like 20 photos, maybe 30, and it was like 1.8 gigs.
Alright guys, so DXY bottoming out. We're coming back for the Asia lows. Expect some potential pullbacks. GU, can we get that pullback back to Asia highs for execution? Gold also starting to break below that order block zone. Let's see. GJ also starting to break out of the Asia lows. So personally for me, GJ, if we can get something like this, closing outside of the range, pull back into Asia, structure break somewhere here below the Asia lows, nice little structure being created, break of those lows, I'll be executing short. USD JPY technically should also be pulling back as soon as DXY starts holding those lows. Also weekly pivot down here. We already had that move yesterday above the weekly pivot.
GJ also created that low now for me, so if we can get some liquidity build up, then I've got some sell limits in on GJ.
Yeah, nice little structure break here. Keeks, you're not selling yet, or are you already in on gold?
No, I wasn't selling. This would be now. Genuinely, I would look for a hell now. After getting this first bearish, and then get a slight retest, and then till that. But I'm gonna hold out. Purely because I just feel coming close to the range. Again, mentioned those daily highs. I want. So I think entry now would just be a bit of an entry. So I'll just leave it, and if I still don't get it, then I'm just gonna wait for New York Open.
I agree with Keegs on that. I'm also looking at USD yen. It's very close to this institutional point at 145.500. So once we also lines up with the fair value gap on the 15-minute chart. So if we can see price tap into that and give us a pattern, then we could potentially go long. And if it does pull all the way back, then it could correlate with gold and actually go up as well and touch our zone, which we want to sell from.
This is the ruthless part of trading. Waiting. The most difficult part of trading.
You know, we say that and we joke about it, but like it really is. Like in the past, like I'm not even gonna lie, there were so many times. Like for example, this gold trade, I would have seen this now and I'd be like, you know what? maybe I was just like a bit wrong. Maybe it's turning around here, and I'll enter there then, and then I get clapped, and 20 minutes later it will go tap my zone, and it will start off perfectly from there, and you just like you sit there so irritated with yourself, but it genuinely is like just that waiting.
Clap or get clapped.
Welcome to Clap City.
Yeah, I swear that's Daniel Savage's new slogan.
Is he getting clapped
that
again?
Every single day.
Every day.
Chris, can I actually quickly read you some of the things that he's posted on his Involio?
You can?
Just listen to a few of these things. I broke
I
myself.
promise you, it's the funniest thing ever.
Quickly find it, yeah. Daniel Savage yesterday. It's hard to sleep when the... Okay, no, that's actually pretty good. Okay, my psychologist literally told me what's going on with me in the markets. It's all in my head because I'm suffering from sleep deprivation and I don't even know it. I'm only sleeping 3 hours a day to get weeks worth of work done in days. Need a mental break, for real. At least 8 hours. Next one. Wow, GJ really flew 60 pips towards target after getting out of bars. This is wild. Losing streak is official. 3 negative trading days. Losses due to psychology from back-to-back fake outs. Technicals are there. Just I'm not there. Switching up my plan now. I swear I'm like the trading influencer to still be trading garbage ass GJ. And then the last one is trading is fake, bro. I'm literally considering not trading GJ anymore. Gold, New York session, and dollar pound.
Yeah, no offense to the guy. I know he's a nice guy and whatnot, but honestly, I've not seen anything good in terms of his trading. So, like, I understand rough patches, but I would say the last
It's a rough patch, not a rough year.
yeah, that's like a rough career. Like, dude, we all go through losing streaks, and there are times where we just not dialed in, but like after a year, after 2 years, like something inherently, I think that's your inability to think critically and actually go back and sit and be like, okay, I'm doing A, it's giving me this result, maybe I should change what I'm doing. And we did talk about it, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So I think it's an ego thing. We talked about it. If your ego is too big to actually take account and take stock of where you're at with your trading, you will never improve. So it's literally an ego block thing where it's like, no, it's worked in the past, I'll forge on and see if I can get through it, but
You know what this reminds me of was that stat we were reading. What was it? Was it FTMO, my Forex Fund? Where they're talking about the most accounts, where that guy spent like $43,000 or $49,000 on his 109 funded account challenges with 0 payouts.
that is the most insane thing I've seen, dude. That is,
Like, I'm sorry, you should stop after 10.
no, that is sickening. Still a long way for this 4 hour to close.
I've got these
Yeah.
stats here. This is honestly crazy, eh? $48,000 spent on challenges. He purchased 109 challenges. Not a single withdrawal.
Like, if you're gonna spend that amount of money on challenges, like, at least hedge, like buy 2 accounts, buy 2 funded accounts, let's say you're buying on this one, then at least sell on this one right here, so that if you blow this account here, you actually pass that one, so you're at least getting a bang for your buck. Like, okay, now I'm onto phase 2. But
Chris, sorry, when you're done there, do you mind looking at UJ quickly?
UJ, yeah, perfect.
What was your bullish? Yeah, I was gonna say you could start looking at rejections of this area it's at now.
I was bullish, remember I said my idea was like a fake out,
Yeah.
and then potentially something like this regaining the Asia lows, but nothing now for me. I'll potentially look at selling the Asia lows if we get there within this session, because we already tested the weekly pivot yesterday, or not tested it, we broke through it. So 145.54, if anything, if we get something here later in the session, I would say that's a probable bounce zone if we bounce.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I just got a feeling from the market makers, so I just thought.
Oh,
I'd
did
share
they
it
phone
with
you? Okay, that's sweet. And then we'll... Is it a peach call or what?
It's a triple 3 peach.
Oh shit. If it's a peach, dude, then we can definitely look at it.
You know what, I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna start introducing the peach, and only the VIP members will understand what that means.
Peach. I did give a peach call now in the chat.
Chris, I think your music is stopped.
No, it started again.
Never mind.
Somebody watching Netflix in the office. It's dragging down our bandwidth, yeah.
I can think of one culprit.
We do have a 500 meg line, so it should be fine. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I was just thinking of now, eh? With all these things, we could have a FIFA tournament, and the winner gets a funded account.
We can do it. 100%. So now we need a PlayStation fund.
It's fine, we're gonna steal hands. He's making bags.
Can we borrow your PlayStation, dude?
At this point, why not? It doesn't make a difference to me.
See, I told you, the man won't even notice it's gone.
I actually dropped my PlayStation yesterday moving into this thing, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's broken.
Is it the PlayStation? What PlayStation? PS5?
Oh, it's a PS5.
The disrespect that you dropped your PlayStation.
I basically just knocked it over on the table, okay? So you never know with these things, though. These things are so damn fragile.
You see, and that's why it's the same type of person that bumps his new car twice already.
Oh.
It was twice, I know. But you would never know it was there because it got fixed very quickly. was gonna tell you, Keegs, I bumped it a third time 2 nights ago. Didn't leave a mark though.
What?
I was at Woolies, and then I was at Woolies. They had gardens, and I drove out of the parking lot, and I basically 4x4'd over over the paving.
No.
It didn't leave a
Okay, Chris, our next action as VIP members is we need to take Han for parking lessons.
Dude, but I think Heinz got the park assist in his vehicle, dude, if I'm not mistaken.
You know, it's the same concept as Mo explained to me the other day was iPhone. iPhone users, we have a lot of features on our phones that we pay for, but we don't know how to use them. Now that's hard.
I think I must just sell my car and buy a bike.
I think that would be a great investment for you.
Alright. You never know. The only thing is now, if I do that and I bump the car, I'm just gonna hurt whatever I bump into. That's the problem.
You see, but that's fine. So the plan, yeah, is you just go full margin, and then you can go buy a bike.
Jason, Larkin, Chris, does everyone trade in the office? Everyone except the one person is going to start trading. Let's call him a marketing director. We're going to do some content with him, and then our office administrator / project manager / the mom of the office, keeping everyone intact. She does not trade.
Yet.
I don't. Do you think Caitlin will trade, Geeks? I don't think she'll trade.
You know what? It's honestly like I think she'd want to learn, but it would never be like a main type of thing. Like that would 100% be that like fun aspect of it.
For instance, I know Laz's wife trades with him. Laz started out and his wife is trading with him. Weirdly enough, I think the female traders, if they really pursue it, are better traders than men. They've got the ability to wait. They've got the patience. They're willing to stick to their rules. They're not going to be like men, because we literally ego driven, and they are not going to be after the ego or anything. They're going to be more results driven.
You know, my only problem I have with that is that they are super stubborn. So that market can be in the biggest bullish trend you've ever seen, and if they say it's bearish, that thing is still bearish.
Yeah, fair fact. Can't deny that.
But you know, low-key, that's why they're the market makers.
It's actually quite a good theory, yeah.
See, I'm telling you, bro, we're exposing them here. So you know, if I disappear and I go missing in like 3 days, you know what happened to me.
Jason, where are you based? Is Jason Larkin on in P?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, it's in the Netherlands. Jason, maybe we'll do something in the Netherlands. The only thing is, there's one Dutch driver that I hate. Hate.
So we can go do anything there, but we are not going to watch F1.
There's one Dutch driver, and hate is a strong word, and I actually need to repent of saying that I hate somebody, but flip sakes. Netherlands. We actually have family that is, well, it's not direct family, but family that lives there in the Netherlands. Place that I would like to see though. Holy shit, guys, this is most probably the most boring session we've had in terms of price. We have yet to move. What is this? We moved 10 pips on GU. We have moved GJ from the open. Let's quickly check at where we opened. We have moved 13 pips on GJ from where we opened. UJ has moved quite a bit from these lows, this low breakout. 15, 16 pips, my goodness. Such a volatile session. Kicks, that peach call on USD JPY is up 3 pips, 4 pips.
See, you gotta trust the peach.
Hussein, I have to agree with you. Max is very good, and I actually respect him as a driver. The only reason I've been a Mercedes fan from years ago, from when Hakkinen, Coulthard, and I think we talked about it, was it 2018, Keeks? No, 2020. When did it get dropped?
Yeah, that last good year, 2020.
And after that, like, yes, so, but he is good, like, we can't deny it. Even as a hardcore Mercedes fan, Max is the best driver on the grid, but he's also in the best car. So, but yeah, that is, when do you have our next race? The summer break ends?
I think it's next weekend.
Old Max. Dude, if he goes on and clean sweeps, or if Red Bull clean sweeps this season, I don't know. I'm actually done with F1 then, to be honest. I'm gonna find it.
Like, I agree with that. Like, as much as I love the sport, if they literally won every single race this year, like, I legit will probably take a break from F1.
Like, look at the results from the Belgian at Spa. So Max started 6. Perez in the same car finished 22, almost 23 seconds behind Max. Like, what the heck? Oh, they're going to Zandvoort. So that is in the Netherlands. Jason, are you
know
going?
what we need?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we need Latifi back. But this time, we need him low-key working for Mercedes. So this time, he can do one for the whole F1 grid and take Max out.
Yeah, bro, that race still. My brother as well. Like, both of us are hardcore Mercedes fans. Hy vra 'n bietjie vir Chris, wat dink hy van Max? Of julle het al seker gechat oor Max.
Sy Frans was maar redelik upside down.
Heerlikheid, ons kan nie daai ou verdra nie.
I don't know, I don't watch F1 myself, but he doesn't look like a stand-up guy.
No, actually, a slight change in topic. So, what's our thoughts of the Springbok team for Friday?
Are we playing on Friday?
Yeah, we play the All Blacks.
What?
I think it's a sell.
And
Has
yeah,
the
it's
sorry,
a
has the
nice
team
cricketing game.
has the team been announced?
Yeah, it was announced yesterday.
Where Springbok versus New Zealand. Let's quickly check what we've got.
My thing is we chose violence.
Is it a strong team? What's your thought? Box reveal.
So for example, the forwards, there's probably 2 changes I would make in the forwards. Other than that, that is our best pack there. The back line is where it really gets interesting. For example, I think it was a great decision. We played Cannon Moody at 13. I do believe he's got all the attributes to be a great 13 in the future. I just don't know if it's a bit early. But again, you're never going to find out until you try. So we're going to see that on Friday. But other than that, the team, like I say, the backline's very interesting. I mean, bringing Andre Estays in at 12, Faf's back at 9, Mani Lebok playing.
Where's
great,
the team? Sorry, but can you send it to me?
I'll send it to you. Yeah. So Mani's at 10.
I already know you don't
playmaker.
Like
I don't like who?
I can already tell you're not liking my Pimpy at 11.
Yeah, I do not like that man. I don't know what he's doing in the team anymore.
Makazola.
I liked him the last World Cup, but I'm sorry, like it's a fair point as a guy that played and everything. You can't tell me a guy that was one of the in the whole tournament of the URC, one of the lowest point scorers, and we've got 4 wings that were in the top 5 point scorers in the whole tournament. Yet that man is still being chosen over them. It just doesn't make sense.
Keeks, where did you share it? You share it on
On Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Let me just grab that quickly.
Other than that, like I think it's a really interesting team. I think the big thing is when we see what the All Blacks are gonna do.
Looks like Jason doesn't want Mani or Fuff in there. He's willing to pay the tickets home. Actually, I like Mani.
I don't want Faf there. Mani, I love. I am a Stormers, so I do love Mani. My only problem is that I can take
Can't kick.
Mani is a great playmaker, but he's put it out in the Yankees. When it comes to his kicking, he doesn't ever miss a kick the whole URC tournament for the Stormers. Since he's been in a Springbok jersey, he can't kick to save his life. So, as much as, and I think that's what Neen Arbor, his comment was on it, is you sitting in that situation now, you take him off for a guy that might kick better, but is half the playmaker on the field. So you keep him on because he brings the back line to life, but you're at the risk of him missing kicks the whole time.
Keeks, did I miss something? Is Colby injured or is he just not in the team?
He's just
a head
not
injury.
starting.
Is he in the team? I think he's got a head injury, if I'm not mistaken. He had a slight
He
concussion.
is injured, yeah, but not like a hectic injury. They just rested him.
Dude, so there's only one change I would make. I wouldn't start Dwayne. I like Jasper. I would have Jasper
No,
there.
100%.
And then I do feel Faf actually lags. He lags the game. He doesn't have the ability to speed up the game. So he stands there, he watches. So if you're gonna play that typical test rugby where you slow everything down, you bash up, like Faf's perfect for that. But in terms of running like a running brand of rugby, Faf's not where he was at the start, like that quick ball, getting the guys into space. But yeah, he's got the experience. So I think in terms, and also his defense is quite good. Like you'll see him, he's like very good on defense. Mani, I also love Mani. I think like his playmaking abilities is very good. In terms of that BMT on his kicking game is terrible, and we don't have like a backup kicker in the team. Fafana can kick, but whether you can at that level, like let's say for instance we play a quarter or a semi-final, and you need to get points. Fuck, bro, we don't have somebody like that. And then I check Cannon Moodley. So has he played outside centre?
So his schoolboy career, he actually played majority of his game at 13. and then played Craven Week at 13, and then he's also played URC a few times for the Bulls and that at outside. So as again, his vision for the game, that's what makes him such a great player on the wing and everything. He's got the hands, he's got the pace, he's got the step. So perfectly in the bigger scheme of things, I think in the future he would be the perfect replacement for the Kanyo but again, that all I'm saying is he definitely has the potential for it, but I just worried we rushed it a bit too early.
And Estrazen, how's his ability to offload? Because obviously, what's his name? Absolute tank that played center last week.
Oh, yeah, Lindy.
Damien, dude, that is an absolute tank. He just can't offload.
Yeah, I think the same thing with Estrazen. Estrazen is a monster of a man, and a beast. Like, he is probably playing the best he ever has. But again, he's not like a Sunny Bull with his offloads.
Yeah.
But he is a bit better with his offloads than what Damien is. So if he, for example, breaks contact, if he can at least get that one shoulder out, he can get the offload out.
Alright guys, let's lock it in. GJ, let's see if we can get something here and execute. I'm going to wait for something to push into these Asia lows. The idea with this is that if we push up deeper into this, let me just quickly draw it out for you guys, the setup that I'm looking for. Ideally I want something pushing into the zone. Let me just actually copy 2 of it so we can draw some candles here and get some visualization in terms of what we want to see. So let's say we push up into the zone. Let's get the opacity right. Some call centers trying to call me, yes, sell me insurance. And then let's quickly get a red candle here. Let's make the opacity. So ideally what I want to see is either something like this, a strong move into the Asia range, and then straight after that, or maybe 2 5-minute candles after that, closing back outside of it. That would be the ideal. The other scenario is that we slowly push up into the zone, we trickle into that zone, and we get, say, another strong bearish candle breaking, say, a structure level like this, for instance, where we push into the zone, we come back, we break the structure that we've got down here. That's the other scenario. And then we can also have a scenario where we close weak bullish at the Asia lows, create like a nice little top wick. Let's just draw this in, create like a nice little top wick on that candle. I can't put it in the middle. Nonetheless, something like that where we reject off the Asia lows, weak, bullish, and then just have something like that, a slight little engulfing candle on it. So that is what I'm looking for. I want to see us tap into that zone. If you can't get a tap into it, I'm not going to execute. UJ, nothing guys. DXY making its way back to Asia lows. We'll see gold rejected that area. I would say 1900, 1950. We can push back up, closures back below 1900. I would be looking for potential sells on the 4-hour. However, we are going to close bullish. So again, we've got this entire potential wick to fill. We can spike the highs and then come back up to that sell level that Keeks has got there. So nothing as of yet on gold. Very slow session, to be honest. Nothing to execute on that I would say is high probability. Yeah, any other views there, Jevon? I know you're looking at Nasdaq potential shorts.
So at Nasdaq, it's very close to my zone, but hasn't tapped into my box as yet. So no entry. Same as USD. It tapped one of my boxes, but it didn't tap my other box. It's about 15 pips away from my entry point. But if it's not there by 11, which is in 12 minutes, then I doubt I'm gonna take any trades now. I have to wait for New York session.
What time do you get? Sorry, Ian, what do you have on deck for us?
Sorry, Chris. I've got just for now. I've got some sell limits in on GJ. If we do end up just pumping back up to that zone, then I probably will take them out. But if we do gradually get there quite slowly, creating some buy side liquidity, then I'll keep those sell limits in.
Did you refine your order block to the 5 minute or
No, it's on the 15 minutes.
15? Let's quickly have a look at the 15-minute OB. Alright, so this is it's similar to the 5, so this is the OB Ian is referring to. Yeah, that's valid. You had your 3-wave pullback, you had your nice break of structure to the downside, and potentially also your off round number 186.50. Just interesting to note, guys, yesterday at 11, that is when the market moved. Just want to show you. So around about 11 o'clock we created the session lows on GJ. Breakout occurred like 10 to 11 o'clock. GU, similar thing yesterday. We pulled back all the way to the weekly pivot, 10:30, close to 11, and then we had the move. So might extend the stream a little bit, try and grab a trade. See if we can get something.
I just want to say quickly, I was also looking at Euro Yen at 158,800. So it's tapped once again, tapped into one of my zones, same as UJ, but looks like this one is moving first. So if Euro Yen goes to 158.800 and gives me a reaction, I will look to go long on EJ.
EJ will look at it now. I'll get it up for us.
All good.
Euro JPY. Dude, we should just phone access after this. Our internet honestly cannot be this slow. Euro JPY. Okay, it's also the daily pivot, very close to the daily pivot, 158.83. Yeah, I'm gonna stream till, let's say, 11:30. Potentially look for buys on GU if we get it. We basically back at Asia lows, so if we reject Asia lows here, we'll potentially bounce off the Asia highs. However, if DXY does something like this, where we come all the way back into the Asia range, because I'll show you what happened yesterday, then that idea is completely out of the window. Yesterday, exactly the same thing happened, where we actually bottomed out at 2 o'clock, then came back, retested a pivot and went higher. But if we get something similar to what happened yesterday here, breaking down lower back into the Asia range and then closing back outside of it, then I would consider some nice GU buys. So If the XY can line up with our view on GU, that would be sweet, but let's see. Sorry Javen, jy het gesê 158.85, né?
So yes, 158. Okay, if I have to get the exact number, I want to see. I will start looking for entries or for a pattern once we hit 158.836, and I'm using 8 cap as the provider.
So try jy ook nou pivots.
No, this is actually in line with that method that you said. Yeah, I actually looked at it now again. It's time for liquidity requirements. So if they tap the zone, most likely they're going to fill the requirements for London session, and then we could actually see the moves we're expecting to happen.
What is my bias on the day for EJ? I haven't traded it in a while. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, so the daily is bullish. You had this fake out, also this retest here of this previous area of resistance, this breakout level, and then yesterday closed above most recent resistance form. So this can pull back quite deeply and still be bullish on the day. Basically pull back all the way down here, respect those lows, flip bullish and run. But we will share that trade with you. Javen's been ironing out the market here, and we've been sleeping on him. Geeks, we shouldn't be sleeping on Javen. That man's.
I'm actually in profit on a synthetic on step.
No, but we don't trade synthetics here.
Yeah, but
We're trying not to get banned.
Yeah, no, we're not. No synthetics here. Only once Vault has got synthetics, we'll get some synthetics on here. But for now,
Oh, but the man's performing, yeah. He's gonna go 2 for 2, hopefully soon, yeah, in the live.
yeah, no, he's been doing well. He's been putting in the work. Gotta respect the hustle. Jason Larkin, Pollard is coming back for World Cup. Russia has been playing mind games. I would love for Police to be back in the mix.
I had this conversation with someone the other day, and you literally have the World Cup squad traveling, playing their friendlies and all this now, and then they leave straight for the World Cup. Yet he still has Pollard and all them with him the whole time.
Dude, Russia is a machine, eh? That X got some ideas that is fizzling there.
He's gonna bring Pollard on as a water boy.
Alright guys, let's lock it in. Seems like we're going to get some movement here. Also the close of the 4-hour candles, 5 minutes time, actually 3 minutes. DXY back in to the Asia lows. I want to see if we can reject the Asia lows, basically trade into the Asia range, and then come back out. Then we can target session lows. That is the idea. GU triggers about to go off in terms of price alerts. However, as I mentioned, we're quite far away from the daily pivot. Less probable trade. Also, we've got the round number 1 to 800 that got rejected. But let's see if I can just grab a quick scalp 1 to 1, 15 pips on this. I'm more than happy. Gold, nothing as of yet. Weekly pivot, Asia eyes, got alerts set there. UJ, very close to the weekly pivot. We'll see how price performs at that level. And then Euro JPY coming into Jevon zone. and we'll see what we've got here. In terms of my strategy, it's on the pivot. However, the accumulation distribution is bearish, but that is just me. But we'll alert you guys if we do something on EJ. GJ also making a move back to the daily pivot. No real test of the Asia lows, so nothing there for me. I'm just going to lock it into GBP USD and Euro JPY. Hussein, is it raining in Cape Town? We need some rain here in Port Elizabeth. Gigs, have you seen those videos of Vladimir, what is it, Vladimir Shmondenko, that Anatoly?
Well, yeah, the Anatoly, that powerlifter guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was a very clever idea, the way like he did it to go viral and stuff.
But he is quite a small guy though. He's not a...
Yeah, he only weighs like 60, 65 or something.
Anatoly, let me clean you a little bit.
We're gonna turn Jevon into the South African Anatoly.
Joe, scrawn to brawn. Okay, what are we doing, guys? 4-hour candles closed, gold closing bullish, potential top wick fill. So on gold, this 4-hour, very likely you can see something similar to what we had here on the left. Just want to show you guys. Weirdly enough, again, that was the 11 o'clock candle, but you see after closing bullish with that top wick, The next 4-hour candle came to first fill that top wick, take out that high, and then reversed.
Yeah, Chris, just to the left of that, where those bullish candles were, I think that was a 7 o'clock and then 11 o'clock candle.
You are right,
Those
that was
three
Wednesday.
bullish.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there again, 11 o'clock, or basically a 7 o'clock 4-hour candle closing bullish. First took out that high and then reversed down. So again, this is the scenario we're potentially looking for on gold. First want to see that high being taken out and then the reverse low. GU, I'm locking it into GU. Potentially gonna look for some longs on this. Let's see. I would love for it to come into the Asia range. This is the ideal, into the Asia range. Then a nice strong bullish engulfing candle and a tiny little break of structure there, and I will execute on this. Javen, it tapped into your zone, EJ. I see that man is already going full margin, yeah.
Honey,
Yeah,
you being naughty there, bro.
It tapped in, but not my
Signal
liking.
was
I want to see it touch the zone.
Oh, so you're not going to consider this fair value gap here?
No, the way this change of character took place, you know, it's really risky. So like I said, I do believe, like, I would rather miss this trade than, you know, hit stop loss. Stop loss won't be that big, but I like to have a very tight stop. So I actually want to see it go like the 50% of that. So like I said, on the 8 cap.
Oh, so you want it deeper in here?
Yes, and then a change of character, and then same thing basically. But I believe that it will still do it. I believe so.
All right. Did I execute, Keeks?
Han sending out signals here.
GJ Salamets.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? When you send out a signal and then you all of a sudden just see everyone come online. Like everyone's not online ever, and when the signal's sent, everyone's just on their phone.
Signal has been sent.
I sent out the signal, and immediately 12 people came online.
Yeah, Papa, they want to make money.
Yeah, they're not here to play games or watch movies.
You know, Moss, they want to flip that 11 rand to 11 million.
I'm getting in contact with Richard Lowry for the Signals group. In the chat there is asking what is the name of how does one access the signals?
You know, Han, you're a cock businessman, bro. A man wants to find out about the signals and you go quiet.
No, man, I'm just trying to open up the stream here quickly. So I can at least just see what he's saying. Yeah, Rich, so I've got my own mentorship going as well, and then we do provide signals. You can get my number from Chris, and then you can message me if you are interested. But yeah, we do one-on-one Zooms and all that stuff.
And is there spotters commission?
Spotters commission, I'll buy you a Seattle, I'll come there later.
Ah, sweet. Okay, no, I'm happy with that.
Well, now you owe 2 Seattles, so now it's 3 Seattles in total.
Richard says, I received the prophecy that a guy by the name of Hein would make me a billionaire.
Prophecy received. we received that. Laz, you say receive that, dude. You received that prophecy. Receiveth. Yes.
Receiveth the prophecy. In Hein we trust. Ah, I'm flattered. I'm blushing.
We rebuke that spirit of stop losses being hit. We stand against stop losses.
May the market bless us with the clapping of pips.
Guys, so DXY potentially rejecting the Asia lows. However, we already had one test on GU very close to this level. We also have like this type of equal low slash the smart money concept guys will say this is liquidity. If it is liquidity, it's fine. I still want to push into this zone and then a bounce. So I'm not going to try and execute here. I honestly wanted to tap the Asia highs, the flat bodies, and then I will look to do something. Other than that, I'm still sitting on my hands. Nothing I can execute on. I think Jevon sent a signal now. Yes. Hey guys, I'm going full margin shorts on Nasdaq. No risk management. Purely full margin. May the volume be with you. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag pips.
Hashtag J Money.
J Rizzle. I don't know if you in the office, myself and Keith talked about this, like chicks on Instagram. It almost looks like they're trying to sell like an OnlyFans page. And then in the captions, they would have stuff like Philippians 4 verse 13. Thus says the Lord. I only have plans to prosper you and not hurt you. And or other stuff like Psalm 23, and it's like she's half naked, like posing with her ass, and I'm like, no man, come on. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag.
I haven't seen those ones. Usually it's something like, would you like me to make you dinner or something?
No, so they're targeting the Christian guys now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Whenever you see them, they've got clever. They've been admiring and they've been watching this, like for example, the CRC church, and they're checking. Yes, it's these Christian boykies have got money.
That's where the money's at, dude. Now, you know, there's a verse in the Bible that says if your eye causes you to stumble, you need to pull it out. So at least keep like one and then look at Instagram.
I honestly don't even use Instagram anymore. Do you guys notice how much of Instagram is basically just an advertisement for OnlyFans?
Dude, Instagram is like, I would say, the first level of OnlyFans now.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's basically like, I don't know how it works. Don't they like provide free content and then you can like subscribe to that paid thing? It's basically their free content is all over Instagram.
Or now everyone has an insight into what majority of Han's Instagram page looks like.
I don't use Instagram.
Guys, let's quickly discuss this. Let's say your wife or your girlfriend, she's like a 9 or a 10, and you're struggling with your trading, and she's like, babe, don't stress, I'm gonna start an OnlyFans and retire us. Like, what's the call there? Be honest now. I want fair opinions. Yeah.
If I get a Lambo, it's okay.
Keegan's the next Adam 22.
Yeah.
It can be made worthwhile. It can be made worthwhile in a
I'm firstly, sorry, Javon. How do you know about Adam 22? That is my first question. Just a. That is my first question, and I think we're gonna stop it at that.
I just want to say something before we do stop it. I don't live under a rock.
Okay, fair enough.
How do you know about Adam 22, Chris?
But he does upload.
Dude, okay, so I'm gonna be honest here with you guys. So I saw a post on. It actually started with this entire thing with Dylan Danis ripping Logan Paul's fiance, and then somebody in the comments said they posted like a meme of Logan Paul like crying and being like, the only two guys he has in his corner is Adam 22 and somebody else. They mentioned another name, and I was like, who's this Adam 22 that is crying? And then I saw that entire, yeah, that's bad, dude. That is like the OnlyFans thing you can maybe let slide, but what Adam 22 did, and is married to his wife, that's a little bit. And now everybody in the chats here typing in Adam 22 scandal.
You know, just off topic, because we were talking about that now, Logan Paul's fiance. You know, hey, I was shocked. I only saw this morning, she used to date Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
How
bro,
the hell do you go from that to Logan Paul?
No, but she's dated quite a few famous guys, eh?
But how old is she then?
I have no clue.
No, she's young. But dude, Leonardo DiCaprio, like, his max age is like 21 years old. Okay, GBP USD, let's go. Let's see what's happening here. Alright, tapping into that zone. I'm gonna start locking it in here. 4H. Let's quickly go to the 4H. We closed bullish. However, yeah, the ugly zone here on GU, but we do have this 4-hour wick fill, which we can use as some type of advantage. So 5 minutes, let's lock it in. I'm gonna start looking for some potential longs here. This is not financial advice. Do not try and copy what I do here. If you take a trade that I take, it is your own trade. You need to do your own analysis and ultimately take responsibility for your own trade. But it lines up with my rules. It's not the best setup, as I've mentioned, due to the fact that we're trading off the Asia highs. But we do have that 4-hour wick fill potential on it, which I do like. And if we can get something of like either bullish engulfing or like a minor structure break. So let's say we drop down again. Let me just zoom in for you guys. So I consider this to be like an intermediate swing point. So let's say we come down again, break that low, and then we get a break above that structure. I'll execute on the close of that 15 pip stop, and I will potentially target session highs. Let me just see if we even have 15 pips in it, barely. So yeah, we'll see. That's the plan. May the volume be with us. May we rebuke stop losses.
Chris, right in the next stream, you come wearing a black button-up shirt. What's that thing that the normal churches pastors wear? That white collar thing.
Oh yeah, in the middle.
And you've got like, and then I know Keegan has that. Keegan, what's that book that you have about trading? Is it Trading in the Zone?
Mark Douglas.
Yeah.
Is it Mark Douglas? No, I think it's Mark.
Yeah, Mark Douglas.
And then that could be like your thumbnail.
Just rebuking.
Be gone all stop losses.
Just looking at volume 100, it's at all-time low. Maybe there's what is volume 100? Is that a synthetic, Jerian?
It's a volatility index, yeah.
He's gonna go apply the range breaker strategy now.
Javon, I think you muted if you were talking to us.
Jarian, just be mindful that we don't do synthetics on live at the moment until Gold Markets launches the synthetics, because then technically we'll be promoting another broker. But you can message me with that question in my inbox, and then I'll actually analyze it for you and I'll just send it to you.
Oh shit. DXY coming back into the Asia range as mentioned. So let's see. If we are going to continue bearish, we would need to get back below the Asia lows. Otherwise, if we don't get back below it...
You know what's very interesting though is that the dollar is coming back and is going bullish, but so is gold.
So one of them
are tricking you.
So also be mindful, look at EJ. Like I said, I didn't think that was a valid change of character. It's actually heading towards our zone now. So once it taps in there, kind of get ready. So in the next 15 to half an hour, we could see an entry.
On gold, I see we did come back up again. I wouldn't even mind to see another break of structure to the upside, maybe going closer to Keegan's area. Actually, maybe I think it would be quite ideal to tap into Keegan's area and then start making its way down. Because I don't feel we're going to start reversing off here after this pullback back into the zone.
I'm locking it into GU here. Let's see. Very nice. So now we've got that move into the Asia range, and if we can get back above the Asia highs, I will execute. If not, no execution.
Okay, so EJ just tapped my zone, tapped perfectly, and then had a pullback. So I do believe that from here we can see a rise, change of character, and then see a displacement / fair value gap present itself. And then once it taps into that, we smack them.
Hey, smack him. I love it. I love it. Yes, dude, let me just get EJ on the chart here. Smack. Don't get smacked. Don't want to be on the receiving end of the market. You want to slap the market. Jevin, so you say we need to start locking it in on Euro JPY.
Not as yet. Let's first wait for price to form. So on this 1 minute chart right now at the moment, the last lower high. So once price makes a new high, a higher high, then so basically the candle that must also form a displacement / a fair value gap imbalance, whatever you want to call it. So once that is present and price retraces into that, we can just enter. No need for confirmation once it taps into that, because it's just going to invite liquidity to take off.
Also, just interested to note that EJ Trade is also actually busy, or it's gonna soon react off the previous day's equilibrium.
It's basically at that level, just below it, 158.84.
Yeah.
Alright guys, lock it in. Shots are about to be fired here in the market. DXY pulling back. Some would say this is an order block. That can be an order block. if we do reject from there, come back below the Asia lows, then we'll start trading back above the Asia highs on GU. GUJ on its way to that round number, also the daily pivot, very interesting. Indices in a range, and Euro JPY currently making a session low. So Javen, are you saying if we get a change of character, you're gonna place buy limits?
No, I don't like buy limits, but I would wait for it to tap in and then execute from there. But if you want to put the buy limit, feel free. Just make sure that you place it on top of the limit, because if you place it maybe too deep, your spread might not activate you depending on your broker.
So you're saying change of character, like something like that, and then from there, fair value gap somewhere in here.
Exactly, yes.
If there's a fair value gap here somewhere, okay.
So basically, I have like a 25 pip range where this whole trade must take place, and as long as like price, as long as the pattern presents within that range, you
You
I take a trade from there. But as long as it's outside of my range, then it doesn't meet my criteria.
Okay, keep us posted. The guys are hungry, they need to eat. Ray Swag, Jamin is a beast. Flame emoji. Hashtag flame the market. No, it didn't say that. J Riz. We've got Riz.
Keeks, look at what Daniel Savage posted on Involio.
I was about to ask you. I was like, did you just see what you posted?
Don't tell me you got clapped again.
No, because this guy, you have to read it yourself.
Okay, wait, let me.
I can't do this oak anymore. Like, he loses 3 trades in London session, all of a sudden London session is the problem.
Yeah, guys, if you want to know what we're talking about, you're going to have to go download Involio and go follow this man, because, yeah, if we keep reading these messages, we're going to get cancelled.
Yes, the but why does it show only one closed position? Does he delete like his history?
I think so, because he's had quite a few closed ones, so I think he might be deleted his history.
Boys, I'm gonna have to love and leave you. I've got a few Zooms that I have to get done this morning.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for joining. Really
I'll see
appreciate
you guys
it.
in the office.
Thanks, Honey Boy. Don't forget our Seattle's, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll appreciate that. Thanks, Aaron.
I'll see you guys later. Cheers. Enjoy the live. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Guys,
But
so,
you know, hey, like,
yeah, sorry.
I'll give it to you. But this year, he's like optimistic, because as much as he says that, like, the message straight move after that is like, okay, well, he's New York session ready.
Yes, the winners know when to stop. GU guys, so for GU, next thing ideally is some type of resistance here, pull back to this level right here, and then a break of structure there. That's what I'm looking for in terms of execution. I can't just execute on 2 bullish candles below the Asia high. I would need for price to get back above that. So I'm just laying it out here for you guys. I want to see some type of resistance potentially being formed there, and once we get that and we're back above the Asia highs, I'll execute. if we don't get that, remember, as I previously mentioned, I would still consider longs at the Asia lows if we get there on a little bit later, but for now, this is all that I'm considering. And then Jevin's idea is for something like this to happen. Change of character, or you can call it a break of structure. If you get something like that, you're gonna have, looking left, what they call a fair value gap. Look left with me, that is a fair value gap. You take the three candles, that basically the down candle, the up candle, and the candle that, for instance, broke structure. You take that bottom wick and that top wick, and that is a fair value gap. So if we can get this entire scenario, literally copy and paste that here, that is your setup that you're looking at, and you'll execute in that fair value gap wherever it creates. Am I right, Jevin?
That's correct. Yes, I was gonna actually say now. See why I didn't take it there, because I was stopped out. So my stop is my stop is gonna be so tight, slightly below the previous high or low, that when I enter the trade, I don't necessarily want any drawdown. And I understand that a trade must breathe and so forth, but it's just, one of my preferences. I prefer to go straight into profit so that it's easier on my emotions.
Nothing wrong with the trade going straight into profit. That is obviously the dream.
On him actually saying that, like, I must say to people as well, when I trade lately, like, my stop losses are also quite short. But again, that's just how I've worked my strategy. That you're, in a way, there's rules and there's things that have to be ticked. And basically, my stop loss, the closest point that if it hits my stop loss, it's invalidated my trade. So that way, I'm maximizing my profits, but at the same time, giving it the realistic room of, if it hits that point, I know I'm wrong, if that makes sense.
100%. Alright guys, let's say 11:30. I have to prep for some other stuff here at the office. Let's just quickly run through everything again. DXY, as I mentioned, if we can close back below the Asia lows here at 103.15, very nice area for GU to then get back above the Asia highs. Let's maybe wait for this 5-minute candle to close, and let's see where we are before we go offline. Obviously, we would love to take some trades live with you, but if they don't set up within our time, unfortunately. Alright, so GU, as I mentioned, even this, I would like a little bit of a structure being created there. As soon as we break back above the Asia highs and we can hold Asia highs, I would consider long positions from this level right here. First target would be, firstly, and I'm not executing now guys, I'm just showing you my idea. First level would be the session highs, and then potentially that daily wick fill that we marked out at 12800, 12820. So not to be greedy, I would say anywhere in between that. Nice 15 pip stop as usual for the majors. Nice 1 to 2.5. How did this 30-minute close? This 30-minute obviously closed bearish. Let's just have a look here at how this 5 is going to close. DXY. $11:30 now. It's way too late in the session. Anyways, guys, I'm not going to execute on it. It's too late in the session. Feel free to do what you want with that information. Gold also now pushing back into that zone. Keeks, any closing remarks on gold for us?
Yeah, just a reminder, guys. Obviously, what we are looking for is just quickly that we want to go short. So we would like that daily high or the high so far to be taken out, which again, kind of then go to at least into the 1903 area. That is where I'd want to find resistance and then come down. If it goes, and like we say, always just wait for your candle confirmations or whatever confirmations you look for to before it's short, where if it does close above 1905, that would be our area I would start to look for possibly going long.
Shot, guys. Anyway, rejecting on this 5. We will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully some more movement in the markets and we can actually get into some moves. Straight safe. See you guys